This is the question. Do junkies' lives matter?
Gabrus, as we were just talking about, the media, the drugs, all this coming together. The mainstream media's coverage on substance use has been trash as long as I can remember. So what I like to do here on the program is I like to pull some of the top drug-related stories in the news and give them a little fresh coverage, a little different angle from what you might see on the mainstream media there.
Hell yeah.
And so today we got a story that I pulled. This is from Filter, which Filter's a great outlet, harm reduction outlet. They do the research, a lot of evidence-based journalism, if you can imagine. It exists out there. You got to just look for it a little bit. Yeah. So the thing here now, I don't know if you fuck around with vapes at all. Now, this is talking about nicotine vapes. The headline here is evidence is in on vapes as smoking cessation. Now we need urgency. So I don't fuck with vapes personally. I smoked cigarettes for a very long time, on and off. I smoked again recently until right before I had a kid, and then I said, you know what, I'm going to quit. I'm not going to smoke anymore. But I don't do the
congrats.
vape.
That's one of the hard. It's like just a little easier than sugar. It's like
That's right.
it's the hardest. It's the hardest one.
I tell people that all the time.
Heroin.
It's sugar. Yep, it's sugar, it's nicotine, and then it's heroin. And trust me, I know. So
a lot of my family is in the medical field. A lot of nurses in my family, and they'll say people going through alcohol withdrawal is more violent and destructive on their body than going through heroin withdrawal.
Heroin.
Or
I would say that
withdrawal.
too. To be fair, I have never reached. I've been always I would say a somewhat functioning alcoholic. I've never reached
party
the point where, because you
alcoholic
could
is-
die. You could physically,
Right.
like heroin withdrawal is really brutal, and you gotta, whatever, especially without medication. But you'll live through it likely. There's rare, but alcohol is like straight up. You got to get some meds in there, or you'll die. So yeah, alcohol is rough. I think if you reach a certain point. But these
but back
nicotine.
to vapes. I've never really fucked with nicotine my whole life except for like spliffs or rolling blunts with like cigar paper.
Sure.
I have fucked with weed vapes due to like hotel room and movie theater bathroom type situation. I always have a weed vape, but I got into weed to get away from processed shit. So like,
Yes.
I'm lying to myself if I vape a lot of THC. So I mostly smoke grass, like flowers.
I'm with you, man. The flowers,
yeah.
of course. I love that about you, you old hippie. These
Hey,
kids
I'm
love their
41
synthetic
and
oils.
it's still in there. Yeah, I know. Go nuts with your. I mean, hey, I'll fucking do a dab at a party, but I'll also do a pill off the ground. You know what I mean? Like
That's right. Right.
Vapes a bad. I eat fucking Taco Bell weekly. Like I make bad
Sure.
choices, but vaping is one that I'm like. I also could easily. I have an addictive personality, something you know about me, and if I had a weed vape on me, I might become the guy that's like popcorn lunged out and spending like $600 a week on
Just
fucking
all day, every
bunch
day.
of
If it's
shit.
that easy.
Yeah, exactly. Like having to roll and stuff a cone or even just like light a joint means I can't do it like at UCB or while I'm in the waiting room somewhere, like at the doctor's office.
Dude, I'm
It's just
with
like, don't give me the ability to fucking do that. you
No,
know?
let me have to have a ritual of some sort to sit down and be like,
Yes.
all right, now I have to do this part before I get to. Yeah, otherwise I'm with you. I
Put any
fucked-
kind of impediment, put a lock on the fucking cabinet, put anything you can in front of me to slow
Yes.
me down.
Yeah, make me tell a story or something before I do this. Like, let's have this be a process, like a whole thing. Yeah, the vape, the convenience of the vape is something else. And at least with the nicotine, what they're kind of saying here, because this is what's fun. That we talked a little bit about this. I don't know if it was on mic or off mic. I don't know when the hell mics are rolling anymore. I'm fucking talking in my sleep. I'm trying to record it. I don't know what it is. But I don't know if we said this on the show or not. But with Portland, it's funny because with Measure 110 now, they decriminalize all possession and individual use of all drugs. Which is a wonderful thing that I think is, a start at least to trying to, tackle the war on drugs from a national standpoint. It's setting a little bit of a precedent. But I think what's weird is at the same time, Oregon is very big as a state on these anti-vape train, which I get from a standpoint of people saying, we don't want the kids doing it, the flavored vapes and all this other shit. But the problem is this actually is a form of harm reduction because so many people die. Far more people are dying from nicotine, from smoking cigarettes, than they are from any other drug. Alcohol and tobacco are off the charts with death. They continue to be. So I'm like, it's interesting to see the kind of pushback from maybe the more what you consider progressive people who are just like, yes, of course, Measure 110, we're all for that, but we got to get the vapes. It's almost like a regressive. It's weird. It's weird to watch because they're very much on the train of getting rid of these menthol flavored cigarettes are off the table, and the flavored stuff. And really, we all kind of know who that hurts and what communities that hurts. And I'm not saying black folks are the only people smoking menthols, but poor white people like smoking menthols too. I think poor people in general, if you're going to be chain smoking 5 packs a day and that's all you got going on, sometimes you go for the menthol. You know, that's just what it is.
But I think that flavored vape shit is like, we know that they can make money off of kids.
Yes,
they know they can make money off kids, and so that's the uncomfortable thing is that like maybe we don't need mango jewels around. Like,
right.
Like if you're trying to quit cigs, maybe there is like sort of just like a bit of a bummer vape that isn't cotton candy flavored or something. Just so because that seems a little nut. Although I think adults should be able to get whatever they want. You know what I mean? But
I'm with you, though. I hear you. The mango is clearly, you're right that it is absolutely marketed and advertised. I'm not arguing on that front at all. It is marketed and advertised for kids. The like mango, juicy mango versions of whatever. That isn't like something an adult generally would be going around doing. But if they wanted to, I guess you could. Again, this just comes down to like with everything else where you're like, well, the problem here is even if in theory, we've seen this in practice, if you go to prohibition, it's going to make it to the black market. So when a lot of these things in New York, when they did this, it's not like you're preventing, in your mind, you want the state to help you raise your kids, which that's a whole other conversation, whether or not you think that's a good thing, a bad thing, whatever. I think it's not a good thing. And I have a kid, damn it. So now I can actually say it with conviction. But regardless of that, it's like, you know, I get that there being like regulations for things, but for this kind of stuff, it always pushes it to a black market, which is less safe. So whether or not you want to have this, you had those people for a long time, they were talking about, and this is what they used in the propaganda to get these vapes off the shelves, is like people having fucked up, you know, like lung shit and their throats were going and all this stuff. And I'm like, that's because you're buying black market. Like these vapes are coming, you know, they're not being regulated. So I think the problem is like there is a world where this can be, again, not perfectly safe, but less harmful than cigarettes. You know what I mean? And certainly less harmful than whatever sort of oil and vape you're buying off a dude on the 7 train. Like, you know,
right.
so
and you're the one who opened my eyes to like harm reduction on an old episode of your pod, which then I brought you on High and Mighty to talk about to me and my listeners, because it's really something that like people who are our age never heard of as kids, because it was just say no forever.
Yes.
But now we're just seeing everyone is like, drugs are hard to quit.
Yeah.
They're built to be addictive. So like, what can we do to help? And so like, I'm even like backpedaling on the like vape stuff, because if it gets you to quit cigarettes, but then there's also like this whole other thing of like nicotine companies, tobacco companies don't want you to quit cigarettes either. So it's like it's a little,
it's tricky.
It's just we're dealing with like 9 untrustworthy entities. You know, like you're talking like tobacco companies, government regulators, and children are like the ones involved, and they're all like intense variables.
That's right. That's right. They'll all bullshit you up and down, you know, before you even know what's going on. I mean, we know, we've been there. And it's funny you say about like us growing up with the just say no. I think that was like, if you grow up with just say no, then as anyone who wants to buck the system at all, if you're a kid, it's just say yes. It's never like just say maybe, depending on the circumstances. It's always like, at least I found our generation was like, oh, fuck you, just say no. We're going to just say yes to all of it. You know, like, and you start to find yourself in,
even like the dam, like a hole in the dam, like, oh, just say no. Okay, I didn't say no this one time and smoked a bowl with friends, and I had a fucking blast. So
what else are you
telling me? A blanket? No, yeah, exactly. What else? Like, oh, so is Acapulco Gold, Red Devils, and Blue, you know, whatever the fuck the list of fake drugs we had when we were kids, like whatever fucking Maui Wowie I can get my hands on, like. Fucking black tar H sounds fun. If you're telling me weed is a no and this is a no and alcohol's okay because your parents do it all day, every day in front of you, and everyone you knows and every social event you go to is based around alcohol, that's totally fine. Your dad is an angry, violent man, but you must say no to. And so the second you try one little thing and go like, well, what else? Like that's why abstinence with sex is like. Abstinence without sexual education is like just don't fuck, and it's like the second you like dry hump and cum your pants, you're like whoa fuck. What else about like I like this? If I heighten this, it's gonna only be more fun.
That's right, especially when you're like, oh wait a minute, I thought my genitals were supposed to fall off immediately, and my whole life would spiral out of control, and I'd have 10 children. You're like, well that didn't happen. Then pump away. Now it's time to start pumping.
Yeah, I thought for sure that my buddy would have a scrambled eggs for brains or be flattened into the couch. Instead, he just plays the bass for 2 hours while you're at his place.
Which is also maybe not great because he needs to get his chords down, but like it's not the end of the world.
No, yeah. We keep telling him, learn guitar.
Yeah, dude, start with guitar. Yeah, please, just learn some basic chords before you pick up that bass. Yeah, well, I mean, look, this is another instance of that. Of course, all this shit is tricky as it goes, but I just found it interesting, specifically in Oregon, with the Measure 110 stuff, and now this kind of coming up really hard, where there's a whole, Bloomberg, man. Michael Bloomberg throws his money around to a lot of weird shit. He's the big, Mr. Small Sodas guy. You can only have them small sodas. He does a lot of this weird shit with the public health that I think he just thinks of himself as this, like, I don't know,
magnanimous,
yeah.
I've adjusted society to be slightly better.
Yes, a little puppeteering. Yeah. So he gave through a bunch of money behind this legislation with the vape stuff. So again, it's just like, bro, this is going to do more harm than good, is my guess as we see this move forward. Will it keep it out of the hands of some kids? Maybe, but also then the other kids who go elsewhere for it, then they're even in more danger than they were in the first place. So I don't know. You got to kind of weigh it all.
I was at my local head shop the other day, just buying some rolling papers, and a guy came in and was like, "Hey, do you have any of those flavored cartridges?" And the guy's like, "No, see, they're illegal now, but because I know you, I do have some in the back, and I can get it for you." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
yeah. He's like, "Because I bought fucking a shit ton of them
for a while
before they were illegal. Right. I got like a whole shipment of them, so I'm gonna have to get rid of them." Amazing.
I picture that's how it's going forward in a lot of places these days.
For sure. Weekly Dose.